You know that moment when you tell someone you're a Maragoli and they look at you and ask, oh, so you are a lawyer? And you're like, girl, I just told you I'm a Maragoli. But, well, if it makes you happy, then yes, I'm a lawyer, but not just any lawyer. It's the premium type of lawyer, you know, the premium version. So like you meet a lawyer, but you pay for the premiums, the monthly subscription. That's where I belong. Today we are not vlogging. Come on, it's cold outside. I'm going to spill all the tea about my people. Welcome to Ssidi's Diary. Here we don't just watch, we come along. But today we are not coming, we're just here, we're just seated. Grab those popcorns, grab them. You know, in every story we need a main character. In this story, we have this main character. It's a man. I'm pretty sure he was tall, dark, and... well, in this story, it's a man whose name was Mulogooli. It was because he's no longer there, right? He died. It's decades ago. The founder of the Maragoli community. You know, Maragoli. So basically, if Maragoli never existed, then I wouldn't have existed. This is absurd. Then probably I would have been born in somewhere like Canada. God forbid. In all those histories we have been taught and maybe read about, we learn about the migration of the people. So I want to assume that Mulogooli was just somewhere and he migrated and decided, you know what, this is where I stop. I'm tired of walking, and he stopped in Vihiga, right? Vihiga County. I don't know what Vihiga was called by then, but he stopped in Vihiga, and that is where he decided to build his community, the Maragoli community. Was it in the Maragoli Hills? You know, we have Maragoli Hills, we have Maragoli Forest. Was it where Mulogooli settled? Well, I think I need to find out. But what I'm sure of, he settled in Vihiga. I mean, that is my home. Well, of course, he decided to build a home there, and he wouldn't have built the home all alone. He married a lady, beautiful, by the way. She was very cute. I've seen her photos. Lies. Her name was Khaliesa. K-H-A. This one. Well, you won't always find her name being mentioned everywhere, but she's important in this story because she's like a co-founder, right? In other words, she's part of the foundation of the whole Maragoli lineage. Together, they had children. Yay! Sons, actually. And these sons are the reason the Maragoli community is structured the way it is. We'll find out later. The names you'll hear most often are Mmavi, Mkirima, Mkizungu, and Msari. Some stories also mention another son called Kavogoi, and it's believed he died when he was still young. That was so sad, right? Here is where things get interesting. All these sons grew up. They didn't all stay at home. They need to leave their father's home and get alive. You know, spread all over the place. So like the whole community, maybe the whole county, I don't know. But they just decided to spread, which is good. So what I'm basically saying is that each of them moved and decided to build their own home, and of course started a family. That is not anything unusual. It's something that happens when a family keeps growing. Over time, the families became bigger and bigger and bigger. And before you know it, all those families turned into what we now call clans. So today when you hear someone say Abamuku, Abakizungu, Mmavi, Abasari, they're basically telling you, this is the line I come from. This is my root. And it's not just a name. It tells people where you belong, who your people are, and even helps guide important things like marriage. For example, you are not supposed to marry someone from your clan. That is not right. That is an abomination. It's like you've married your brother or your sister. So for instance, if I am Msari and I get a man who is also Msari, that is my brother. That is my brother. Whether or not we are related by blood, but ideally we are related, right? Yeah, because we come from the same root. okay? So no, we share the same grandfather. So get away. You cannot marry your relative. You did crazy. So long before IDs were official, this is how people knew each other, through family and lineage. All this was remembered without even writing anything down. Isn't that interesting? No notebooks, no documents, just stories being passed from one person to another, one generation to the next. The unwritten history, right? We had parents telling their kids, grandparents telling their grandkids. And for me, I never really had a chance to interact with my grandparents. From my maternal side, both of them were dead by the time I was born. From the paternal side, my grandmother was already dead by the time I was born, and my grandfather died when I was just, I think, 4. I think so. 4 or thereabouts. So by that time, I didn't even know he was my father's father. I just found out later. So I was very young. I never had a chance to interact with my grandparents, listen to their stories. I am so envious of people who tell me, oh, I've gone to visit my grandmother, I've gone to visit my grandfather, my grandfather did this for me, and blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of jealous. But my daddy was full of history. He was a man who just knew everything. He was an author. He wrote so many Maragoli course books and storybooks. He used to tell me so many stories. Oh my goodness. He used to tell me so many stories, and yeah. So I grew up knowing these things. He taught me a lot that I needed to know about our people. That's why I'm one person who is always proud of where I come from. It's just, everyone who knows me knows that I love speaking my Maragoli language, and I love everything about Maragoli. You don't just find that from anyone. I mean, I'm just speaking English right now because I need to reach a wider audience. I'm not just targeting my Maragoli people. But if I had a chance to just target my Maragoli people, I wouldn't stress myself speaking English or Swahili. Now, but well, Maragoli people need to be known. I'm really proud of my language, and I always speak it everywhere. You wanna learn though? So yeah, the stories just get passed from one generation to the next, and somehow it stuck. Yep. As time went on, the Maragoli people kept growing. Families became larger, and eventually the land started becoming a problem. Vihiga is fertile and good for farming. It's like a land filled with milk and honey. It's, oh my goodness, Vihiga is that fertile land. Even the women in the land, very fertile. If you have read history, you will find out that one of the factors that led to migration of people from their original homelands to other parts of maybe the country, the world, is overpopulation and land disputes. So like I said, the Maragoli land, I mean Vihiga, is fertile and of course beautiful and good for farming, but it's not that big. So of course, with more people and limited space, some families had to move. They gotta go. And that's how migration started. People began living in search of more land and of course better opportunities. One of the main places they moved to was Migori County. That happened especially in the 1930s and 40s. That is according to history. I wasn't there, but that is what history gives us. That is when most of the Maragoli people moved. And the funny part is, not everyone who went there was planning to settle. Sometimes it just started with going to maybe visit a relative. So for instance, maybe my sister and her husband migrated to Migori, and I'm like, oh, you know what, let me go visit my sister. When I go there and I'm like, let me stay for like 2 months. Or maybe I go there and find, oh wow, this looks so good. and then maybe I meet someone and we fall in love and I decide, you know what, this is where I stay. Or maybe I get a better opportunity there, I get a job. Of course, I'm gonna stay there and life happens. So most families moved and settled in areas like Suna, Kanyamkago, Kakrao. They built homes, they started farming, and of course created a whole Maragoli community over there, like I said. When they migrated to the place, they didn't obviously find an empty space. There was already a community existing in that area, the Luo community. So you can already see ahead that we are going to have a lot of intermarriages. So of course they had to adjust in so many ways. I mean, you need to speak to your neighbors and stuff like that. They were speaking the Maragoli language only, and when they moved to the other place, they found out, oh my goodness, they don't speak like us, they speak the Luo. And of course now they have to learn the language because they have to interact. They have no other choice. And that is just part of adapting to the new environment. But here's the main point. Even as they adapted, they never at any point tried to lose their culture. They never at any point tried to forget where they came from. They are still Maragoli. They still kept their clans. They still remembered their roots. They still trace themselves back to Mulogooli. You remember the man? Our father. So even far away from Vihiga, one question never really went away, and this was, which clan are you from? And honestly, that question follows you everywhere. Today, the Maragoli people have grown into a larger community, and they are part of the bigger Luya group. But they still keep their identity as the Maragoli, which is a very important point. Many of us speak Lugori, our native language. We speak Swahili, which is our national language. We speak English, which is our official language as a country. And we also learn other languages. Okay, they're not important in this story. Swahili being our national language, of course, we need to use it to interact with other people who don't understand our native languages. But when I'm with the Maragoli, why stress myself? Yeah, as long as I can be understood, which is something I find very cute. In terms of daily life, the Maragoli people are traditionally farmers. So I'm a farmer. Me that doesn't even know how to hold a djembe, I'm a farmer. They grow things like maize, beans, groundnuts, bananas, and vegetables. Others, in fact, let me just say most, if not all, keep animals like cows, goats. Well, goats, very, could I say few, or should I say 50-50? Because in my village, for instance, I don't know, maybe now I've been away from home for quite a long time, but at least everyone has a cow, but not everyone has a goat, right? So it's not a common thing really, but at least everyone strives to have a cow and chicken. So they're not pets, we're just livestock keepers. And let's be honest, if you ever go to visit a Maragoli home, you are not leaving that home hungry. Abomination. We welcome visitors whether or not we were expecting them. So chances of you leaving that home, unless you're a witch and we know you are a witch, you are likely to leave that home hungry. And you might not leave that home hungry because we are afraid you are going to be witches. So you are likely to leave that home very full because we want you to like us and not be witches. But then again, we are afraid that if we make you feel good, you might feel bad that we are doing better than you and you will go ahead and be witches. So you witches make us, you put us at a very tight spot, you witches. But anyway, these days life has really changed. I mean, evolution is just happening everywhere. And of course, everything is just changing. The way things were in early 2000 is not the same way things are now. These days, life has changed. It's not as it was earlier. So many things have evolved over time. People have gone into businesses, people have gotten education, people have ventured into different careers. But even with all that, the values are still the same. Those are constant. They're like our identity. Family is important. Respect is paramount. It's important. Community still matters. The thing is, you don't just live for yourself. You represent your family, your clan, and your people at large. Most Maragoli people today are Christians. I'm Christian. But well, you'll still find some traditional beliefs still mixed in. So like, I'm Christian but with a mixture of traditional beliefs. I mean, those are our Maragoli beliefs. That's our cultural beliefs. But I belong to a particular denomination. Christianity is just a religion, and Maragoli culture is what defines me entirely. So it's not one or the other, it's a blend of both, which is okay. The Maragoli people are also traditionally known to be monogamous, and I think that is one thing that makes us stand out. I really don't know about the rest of the Luya communities, but we are known to be monogamous. One man for one woman, traditionally. Oh my god, when it comes to history, there's a lot we can talk about the Maragoli people, because it's just, the stories are just unending. If I decide to talk about everything, I don't think I'm even going to exhaust this story in a single video. It can take like the whole day. We are talking about the history of these people. So anyway, when you look at the story of the Maragoli people, it's not just about the names, not just about the clans or the map. It's about the people. People who started it in one place, built families, grew into clans. Really? And eventually spread into different other places. And it's not just Migori, of course, that was then. I mean America. But the thing is, the Maragoli people still carry their identity wherever they go. They carry their identity. There is one thing that is so peculiar about me. Even with time, even with the change, even with the migration, we never lost our connection. Because at the end of the day, no matter where life takes you, there's always that one thing that stays the same: where you come from. We don't feel offended. I feel offended, but they don't. Which clan do you come from? I don't know, for some reason I don't like responding to this question, because do you wanna marry me? No, I'm married. Well, it's not just a question anyways. It's a reminder of what started long ago and still lives in people today. And maybe that's the most powerful thing about it. Well, that's all I had for you for today. I can respond to your questions if you have any. Don't mind my daughter. She's just messing up with me. She's been messing up with me throughout this video. She's not giving me peace. Well, thank you so much for staying with me throughout the video. I'm gonna try and make as many videos. I don't know, do you enjoy this video by the way? Would you like to know more about the Maragoli people? It would be my pleasure to talk about other communities, but the problem is I really don't know much about them. In fact, the only thing I know about them is the name of the community. I don't know. Is there a community you're interested to know about? This is ssidi.ka's diary. We don't just watch, we come along. I advise you to come along with me. Tag along, baby. Ciao and gracias. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, like. Come on, leave a comment. Why are you mean? Leave me a comment. Let me know how my storytelling skills are, because I think this is the first storytelling thing I've done. I've tried. Imagine telling a story in English. Telling a story in I never tell stories in English. In fact, I'm not a storyteller. I'm a good writer. I'm a very good. Just calm down. Concentrate on me. She doesn't matter here. I do. I matter. Anyway, thanks, and see you in the next video. Turn on the notification bell, darling. Bye.